these are crimes. It's a very well-orchestrated criminal conspiracy. It's a conspiracy specifically designed to place a person accused of crime in a position such that they will have no option but to take a deal, and it works very well. I would ask you all, would you recognize a police state if you were in one? What would a police state look like? You think of the propaganda films of the jackbooted brown shirts strutting down the streets in Nazi Germany. But I suggest to you that the vast majority of the German people never had any interaction with the SS or the brown shirts. They went about their daily lives and did their daily dealings with little notice or concern of the police. In Texas, the average conviction rate is 99.6. That rounds up to 100. Would you recognize a police state if you were in one? The United States contains approximately 3% of the world's population. We house approximately 50% of the world's population of inmates. Would you recognize a police state if you were in one? We are in the worst police state the world has ever seen. And for the most part, we have no clue. And I'm suggesting that it's time we did something about it. And frankly, the solution is elegant and it's simple. Primarily, what I would like to see changed is this requirement to bring a person directly to the nearest magistrate. Everywhere I go in the United States, the police are becoming more and more militaristic. They call me civilian. I remind them very quickly, I am not a civilian. I've been in occupied countries where the military controlled the civilian population. This is not one of those. I am not the civilian, I am the sovereign, and they are to never forget it.
Ain't gonna blind me. Don't bore me. Well.
Okay, we're back. I need to move along. Got a lot of ground to cover and run out of time. After the examining trial, okay, the steps that need to be taken. The arresting officer must create a criminal complaint. And associated with the criminal complaint must be a statement of probable cause. Generally, the officer makes out an arrest report and they use that as a statement of probable cause. And almost always, he gives a statement of probable cause to a clerk, and the clerk fills out the complaint and files the complaint with court. Well, a clerk can do that. Any person who has knowledge that a crime's been committed can swear out a complaint. But an interesting issue that Eddie brought up is the clerk prepares the warrant, and another clerk in the same office notarizes the warrant, the clerk's signature. There's some question about the propriety of that. Since they're both in the same office, it renders less credence to the verification. But that aside, it is the warrant produced by the magistrate that gives the state jurisdiction. In the matter of an indictment, and the question I raised about Tom DeLay, is there was no complaint. 20.09 Code of Criminal Procedure says the grand jury shall examine into all criminal accusations that come to their knowledge by way of the prosecuting attorney or any credible person. Well, For the most part, when we look through the court records, we don't find complaints. We do in Travis County, but in most other states, other counties, we don't find complaints. If there is no complaint, what can the grand jury investigate into? Now, when you go to the police department and you file a voluntary statement, that is not a complaint, that's complaining. You go down and tell them, this dirty rascal, he did this, that, and the other. That's complaining. Complaint is a term of art. It's defined by law. A complaint is a very specific document that runs in the name of the state of Texas, and the person says that they have reason to believe and do believe, based on the following, that this person committed this criminal act, signed before a notary and verified. In law, that's called signing is affirmation. Notary is verification. That is a criminal complaint. And the criminal complaint invokes the duty of the magistrate to hold an examining trial, whether the person's been arrested or not. If the person hasn't been arrested, the magistrate will hold an ex parte examining trial and produce a warrant. If you look at warrants, they all say the same thing. You are to arrest this person and bring him before me. The reason it says that is the magistrate has held an ex parte examining trial and found and ruled against you and issued a warrant for your arrest. If an officer arrests you based on that warrant, they are to take you back before that magistrate, and he's to hold another examining trial, this time with you present, so that the prosecution can present their side and you can present rebuttal evidence. So with or without a warrant, if there's been no warrant, they have to take you to make the accusation. If there is a warrant, then they have to take you to give you an opportunity to overcome the ex parte hearing. Well, as we have mentioned earlier, that does not happen. And then when they're finished, they're supposed to send the records to the clerk of the court. That doesn't happen either. Prosecutor does this little razzle-dazzle song and dance and has the records sent to him. Now, the way I read this is not just public officials following bad policy.